Okay, so back into record. What I discovered is there's a feed resistor for the driver transistor, which is 8.2 ohms at 2 watts, which is down there. That tells you you're never going to get more than 2 watts out of the set. So I've put 10 ohms in because that's what we've got in stock. So it'll be a little bit less power than it should be. So perhaps it'll do 1.5 watts instead of 1.8. Can you see how bothered I look? No. So I now have RF coming out, but I don't know how much RF, because of course I've had to reassemble the radio and put the shield plate back. But to be honest, even if we get only 300 milliwatts out of the set, it more than fulfills what I need it to do. So let's make sure that 10 dB switch is in the off position. Now we're getting somewhere. I've redone that wiring a little bit better. I'll put this RF voltmeter away. So looking at the circuit, I could see that we were not getting any voltage on the driver transistor, and when you look at the circuit diagram, resistor 98, 8.2 ohms is the feed to the driver circuit through L12. All I've done is I put that in place, say 10 ohms, 2 watts, and I've got RF coming out of the aerial wire, so we should be able to read that now on the test set. So going to picture in picture, for some reason my other camera system's off. I'll just put it back on, whatever happened. Right, we've got our camera back. I'll just move the light. Hey! So you can see we've got some RF power there. So we're in the low range. It's doing what, 150 milliwatts in high power and about 50 milliwatts in low power. So we'll tune up the transmitter for what it's worth. Mind you, we're at 1.5 watts now, and this may be, remember these sets are acceptable from like 1.8 watts onwards, and I've lowered that I've made that resistor higher, which will lower the power, so we're not expecting much. At 1.6 watts. I'm gonna have to, because they're so difficult to get to these and even see them, I've got to be sure that I'm actually there's 3 more there, aren't there? Well, that was spot on. It's not quite spot on. Can I get to that one? Clearly this board's aligned before they assemble it into the case. The only way to get to that is to take that control out, and I'm going to do it just to say that we've done it. And then we're going to be sure that whatever it's delivering is the maximum it can deliver. It was pretty well spot on, that. So put that control back. I think it's been used as a test jig, to be honest. So we've done L8, 9, 10. We've done whatever that is, it's not labelled. Have we done 2 there? Yeah, we've done 2. And the third one is that one, not also, oh, L15. And are we supposed to do L16, or is it a spectrum analyzer job? Let's see what it says. L15. No mention of L16, so chances are that's the second harmonic trap which you don't touch. So L15, and it mustn't exceed 3.7 watts. Right, get the hex kit. So just a smidgen away from 2.5 watts there. We'll just go back on these other 2. Definitely at peak. Definitely at peak. Then this other one, which you're not supposed to adjust, I don't think it's been adjusted. I'm just going to feel. I think it's got wax in there. I'll just feel that. Don't know what tool it even uses. No, I mean, that's fine. He's doing 2.5 watts. Well, I never think I'd see this out of this set. Right, so let's go through 1 or 2 of the other things. Is it on frequency? Let's put the camera on our frequency counter. So we're looking for 27,79125. It's not stupidly out, but I think we can do better than that. So again, this is a bit of a faff. I'll turn the set off for a moment. We have to unscrew this support. Bend back the 2 tabs. And then somehow get the lid off. So the only one we need to worry about is the crystal trimmer there. There we go, it's gone on frequency. So I'll turn the power off again and we'll reverse that operation. good. Power back on. Anywhere near where we were? Yeah, spot on. So we'll go back to now deviation. Wow, it's a bit high. It's SVR2. SVR4. SVR2. That one there. So we'll get our little oscillator out. And reduce that to about there. Give that a go. Wallow. A little bit high still. Wallow. A little bit low. Wallow. That's a bit high. Wallow. Fraction high. Wallow, still a fraction high. Wallow, still a fraction. What is this actually altering? Wallow, that's it, got it. So that's got that right. We never set the squelch, did we? So we need to plug in our extension speaker. We don't need to worry about the synod meter. They want spraying, that reminded me. So, as ever, if I just put the camera on the attenuator controls, turn the volume down a little bit. If we set the squelch to full, I want the squelch to not come until S9, so that's 100 microvolts. So that's 3 microvolts, 10 microvolts, 30 microvolts, 100 microvolts. Now, of course, I've fiddled with that, and if I remember, it was the back one. So if I just set that so it's just on, and we'll turn the squelch down. Now we'll leave the signal generator to, and you can hear S3, although the synod's not good on this. That is S3, sorry S3, that is 0.3 of a microvolt. We can hear it down to 0.25, so you know, it looks deaf on paper, but it probably performs better than what you think. So we'll turn the signal generator to standby, set the squelch to threshold, put the signal generator back on. So it's not very brilliant. It's 2 microvolts. Just see if we do that again. Just see if we can set it better. Let's try it there. Switch the signal generator back on. Yeah, that's better. Coming in at 1 microvolt, dropping off about 0.5. If it's like the Fidelity 1000, it uses an AM detector to actually do the squelch level, which is bizarre, but it does. So that's the squelch. We'll turn it up a bit more because it hisses when it's near the threshold. So now we've got RF meter, and we've got... Is there anything we can do with this meter? Turn the volume down. So by the time I spent all this time on it, and a few parts, this set is still not worth anything more than a scrap price, is it? I'm so surprised though that we got the power up to 2.5 watts, because you often don't get that on a nice example of these. I don't think I've ever seen more than the 3.5 you're supposed to get. Right, let's see why this is it the back? So I'm just going to key up. So what's causing it to stick? I feel like that needs backing off on one of the bearings. The trouble is it's sealed, and you know, getting a tiny screwdriver into there to kind of unseal it, I'm not sure we're going to. Just force that to 0 with the zero thing. It's weird this, it's I can see this, it must be bent. Now I think we'll say the meters are no hoper on this. What I will just do is put a dab of glue on the underside. So just for your information, the transmit meter adjustment, you have to pop the meter out and it's down there. Now I can't really demonstrate this on a set with a knackered meter, but if we key up, you can see, probably, if my hand wasn't there, there you go. So that's your transmit meter adjustment. And just for the record, the S meter adjustment is going to be the other control which hasn't been mentioned in the manual. So that has to be that one. So with our S9 signal on, there, that should bring us to S9. And you see we've got this rather sticky needle. It ain't going anywhere. The best we can get out of it. So it's not going to go any lower than that because of it's problems with its bearings. So now when I go into transmit, at least you can see it is transmitting, and at least you can see when there's an S9 signal. So I think that's the best compromise. So we'll put the lid back on the meter. That's sellotaped on. So we better put some screws back in the board because, believe it or not, we're actually done. I really wanted to get a scratchy corner test in as well, and I'll see whether Mr. Chippy's game for that. It's a bit late. Wouldn't it be nice if the speaker works, but we'll just better put a few screws back in the chassis first. So I'll just do that. Okay, so just to conclude, as you can see we've got it back together. Let's have a flick round. Well, it's still picking up the Swear Brigade at Nottingham. 19 Roger. So we've got tone at full, which is how I want it to be. RF gains at full. We're not using the SDR meter anyway because the meter's about had it, hasn't it? So point is, it does more than what I expected to be able to get out of it. 2.5 watts on one of these is good anyway. So that's it. The scrap CB3000 Fidelity back in some kind of working order and still worth about the 15 quid I paid for it. So now we'll go over and we'll do an on-the-air test in the next video. Thanks for watching.